Hello, everyone, and welcome to Answer the Call. I've been getting a lot of comments on my YouTube channel in more recent weeks, calling me a whiner and this and that, and it's impossible to ignore them because they're right. I can't keep complaining about the same things over and over again every week. I can't. I can't keep doing it. And I want to talk about something positive about the game. I want to talk about why we're all here. In the end, if you're watching the videos or you're in the Twitch channel, I feel like, to some extent we're passionate about the game or like talking about it, or there's something about it that isn't just ugh, right? So I would love to hear to use like what Disco has quoted recently is like the origin stories of you guys, and I'll share mine real quick. I was playing Ultima Online, and Chris worked on Ultima Online as well as many of the people that work in the Austin studio worked on Ultima Online when it had first started. But I was playing it way down the line. I think it was like 2013 or something. And I came across a post on a forum about the Kickstarter. I didn't know what Kickstarter was. It felt like Chris was doing a money grab kind of thing. I knew who Chris Roberts was. I played Wing Commander when I was a kid. And I was super excited because I was like, oh, the next Wing Commander, like, this is going to be amazing. And, yeah, it turns out like maybe it was a bit of a money grab, but hey, we're here. And I did not purchase it. I was uncomfortable. I didn't know what a Kickstarter was. Then I saw a Linus Tech Tips video, and that legitimized Star Citizen for me. I bought my first package, an Aurora LN, and yeah, here we are. That is basically my short version of an origin story. You guys can go on much longer, and we can go back and forth a little bit about yours. Not only do I want to hear how you found out about Star Citizen, but I'm very curious how you found what drew you to Star Citizen. What do you want to be in the game? What do you see yourself doing? That's what I want to see and hear from you guys. So without further ado, we'll bring in our first caller. Notorious in our Twitch channel here, Michael Krakenov. Michael, what's up? Can you hear me?
Hey Mike, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad.
Are you uncomfortable because I'm talking so much smack to you when I'm streaming? Do you think I'm gonna do it here?
No, I don't mind. You can talk shit to me whenever you want. I just find it amusing more than anything.
Me too. I'm glad you're a good sport about it. So, how did you find Star Citizen? What's your story?
Well, when I very first heard about Star Citizen was when it was making the rounds on, I think, Facebook way back in the day, when it was like the most funded Kickstarter.
Okay.
I think at some point, like it was breaking all the funding for Kickstarters. I honestly can't remember if it was that game or it might have been a different game, but I'm pretty sure my first interaction was back in 2011. Back when the very first went on the Kickstarter, I remember seeing some articles about it.
Okay.
And I pretty much thought I had a look at it. I was like, nah, this is a scam. So I didn't. I just put it aside.
Similar
back
story
in my
as
mind.
me.
Yeah, and I honestly didn't touch it again for. I think back when they very first were doing like their free flies, and all in the game, all there was at the game at the time was Port Olisar and the mission to go to a comm relay and turn it back on. That was probably my first real experience with Star Citizen, and it was pretty horrible. I think I had a Super Hornet at the time. I don't have that account anymore because I think I did actually buy a game package back then, but I don't have the account anymore, unfortunately, because I deleted that email. But I guess when I properly started with Star Citizen was 2019.
Okay, so more recently.
more recently, if I'll just look on my account online. So when I properly started with Star Citizen, October 23rd, 2019. So shortly after CitizenCon 2019.
Yeah.
So I think I remember watching that, and I was talking to my mates, and we are trying to find a new game to start and play. And
what about that event drew you in?
About that whole thing. Me and my mates, we've always really loved sci-fi games, and we tried No Man's Sky, and it was honestly terrible. The multiplayer experience was really bad. We tried Elite Dangerous for a short while, and we just couldn't get on board. Eve was, Eve is Eve. So
yeah.
So it's not for everyone. Unfortunately, it wasn't for us. And we've always wanted to. A lot of my friends are really into. We're all a bunch of nerds, so we're all into that whole sci-fi genre. And there's nothing outside of really Star Citizen that can sort of scratch the itch that we're looking for. And
Sure.
we all got together. We watched we're like, oh, okay, yeah, Star Citizen. I can't remember exactly how it came back on our. I can't remember who brought it up again. We're like, oh, well, they got this big CitizenCon thing. We'll go check it out. We'll have a look, watch it. And I think we watched it. We're like, oh, okay, so there's actually a lot more here to this game.
Anything in particular in the event that triggered that?
I'm trying to honestly remember what the 2019 CitizenCon was, to be honest.
New Babbage, the snow, the shivering, the putting on the armor out of the box, that kind of stuff.
I think a lot of it I did find
the Carrack.
The Carrack, yeah, that was pretty amusing. I did find. I'm trying to think of the word contrary, some word like that. I did find a lot of what they were doing quite contrary to the situation. I found it more amusing than actually oh wow, this is amazing. That whole the Carrack interaction was very. It kind of to me seemed like they didn't want to be there. It was way too staged for my liking.
That's why I kind of asked you
potential.
That because I think that was the worst CitizenCon they've ever had as far as a keynote went.
Yeah, I definitely think it showed taking that part out of it and digesting the rest of it definitely showed a lot of the potential of Star Citizen. And the whole, for me, my gaming group, what we were looking into was a thing where we can, get on a ship. We can all have things to do because, one of my mates, the Orion, is his dream ship. That's all he wants is to just be a big miner.
Yeah.
All he wants to do that. One of the other guys, he's really into combat. That's all he wants to do. And we want a game that can have something for everyone. And Star Citizen really was only that game. So
it could be that game. So that's what drives you in, right? Game. It obviously isn't yet. I think we all know that, but yeah, I mean, definitely. It's hard to not get drawn to the game because if you're an FPS player or if you're a flight simmer or if I got drawn to it cuz I felt SimCity vibes in a way.
Yeah. Well, I think in the 2019 sitcom, they talked about the whole, having your own base thing and that kind of stuff as well. The theater, because I think 2019 was Theaters of War as well. And they'll talk about how, all this stuff is going to be, as much as a joke of Theaters of War, KEKW, it was
has become, all this, unfortunately, yeah.
Unfortunately, yeah. That whole... ships versus ground vehicles versus, turret emplacements and, bases and all of that is, bigger picture. Something that really solves, you can go get your own outpost, build up your own mining thing, ground base or what have you, and then you go have all this massive combat potential. Once we have server meshing and all the rest of it, and we'll see how far we get after that. But, I guess for us, we do have a lot of salt now for Star Citizen since 2 years ago because we're coming up 2 years now that I've been playing Star Citizen religiously. 3.13.1, I was playing 2 to 3 hours every night.
Yeah.
So, and then 3.14, I pretty much played it once so far, and I haven't touched it since because it's just been such a nightmare for me to run it. But as far as like how we got into it, I guess the CitizenCon. We all actually got together. We put it up on the TV, and it got like 6 of our mates. We just had like a watch party.
Awesome.
And we watched CitizenCon, and we had some beers, watched CitizenCon, then we watched some sci-fi movies before that and after that. So it's kind of like a big sci-fi night for us.
Sweet.
And that's and then we're out because I guess it was a lot easier to get into it when we were all hyped up for watching, sci-fi. We watched like the first 3, Star Wars movies, and we watched CitizenCon, and I think we watched a Star Trek movie after that. So it was pretty easy to jump aboard the hype train when you've had that sort of like massive nostalgia hit beforehand.
Now, where do you see yourself in Star Citizen? What do you see yourself doing? If it if it becomes your daily driver, what are you gonna end up doing?
I guess my sort of goal is to have. I'm still sort of in the air about what I want to do because honestly, when I was on the info runners, they sort of did a fix my fleet for me. I sort of said to them, I don't want to commit to any, the Reclaim of the Crucible this because I'm interested in salvage, but I don't know what salvage is actually going to look like. So I don't want to make a $400 investment on a ship that I might end up hating the gameplay of, and then I've got a $400 ship I'm going to have to melt and figure out what I'm going to do with. So I'm really interested in salvage, repair, refuel, and rearm. I'm really interested in as well. Like I have enough credits sitting in the bank that I plan to buy a Kraken at the end of this year, either with new money or with credits, depending on how I feel at the time. And my sort of goal is to just have a bunch of ships that can sit on the Kraken, and that'll be. I'm not going to have anything on planets or space stations. Everything is going to stay on my Kraken. Put everything. I've got enough space on the Kraken to put everything there. Or I'll have an Idris and be really into combat. So, or this Anvil capital ship. We'll see what the supposed longbow is going to be. But I kind of just want to be my own citizen that I can do whatever I want, whenever I want, and bring a mining ship and a repair ship and a salvage ship all with me in one.
Sure, but with ships that big, you're obviously planning on playing with your friends, right?
Yes, of course. My mate has an Orion, so you can't just run an Orion by itself. You're gonna need something to support an Orion. So having and then one of the things was because I've already invested enough to have a Kraken that I can go, okay, well, when we want to go do stuff on the planet, we can land my Kraken planet side, and then we could, the Kraken can operate as a land base if we need it to. And then if I decide that I don't want a Kraken, I get an Idris. I'll pick up a couple of the K packs, the Idris K variant packs, 2 of those, and then that comes with fully automated turrets for the Idris. So you only need 1 player to run an Idris effectively.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I don't pay attention to these big ships. The biggest ship I have is the Orion, but that was not as big, and it's grown and grown and grown. What?
Yeah, so the Idris K package comes with automated turrets. So I think only 1 turret, which is the missile turret, needs to be player controlled, so you can effectively run an Idris with 2 people, if you don't want to have any engineers or anything like that. Just a pilot and a missile turret operator.
I hope you're wrong. No offense, but I hope this one, I am trying to remain as positive as possible, but I really hope you're wrong that a soloable Idris is a thing. What if it's not?
We'll just sort of have to wait and see. Well, if it's not,
just
then
play with your mates. You got your mates.
I got my mates.
Yeah.
So it's not. But I want to have AI crew. I own 5 different accounts for Star Citizen. So if I needed to, I can multi-box to get multiple ships, move them around, do that kind of stuff. But there's always a way. So and then the good thing about having those additional ships and with additional game packages, you can allocate AI crew, which is what they've said, but who knows what's going to happen with that. But yeah, no, the one thing that I got into Star Citizen for was multi-crew gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
So while I am making a bit of a meme about solvable Idris, like I want to be able to fly my Idris, but I do want to bring my friends with my Idris. Like, what's
Yeah.
the point of having a ship of that size if I can't play with my mates? So, I am an organization leader. It's just me and my mates at the moment, but we do plan to grow it in the future. And then, yeah, we've got a couple of carracks. So, we've got guys interested in exploration and all that kind of stuff. So,
All right.
we want to get out there and explore and find stuff. And, if I have my Kraken, my whole game plan for the Kraken, if I do get that, was to have like a, gray zone. If pirates wanted to come out and repair and sell stuff, they can do that on my Kraken. And if bounty hunters come out and do the same thing, it'll be a completely lawless zone on my Kraken. Obviously no combat allowed on it, but people come out there and visit. A solo pirate, it's going to need to go somewhere, and
Why not you?
why not me? So
all right, Mike, I guess we'll leave it there because we are going to have a long list. So we want to hear everybody's imagined moments. And man, I appreciate it. So it's cool. You have like a long but short history. You have an interesting story.
Yeah, well, thanks, mate.
Nah, thanks for calling in. Be good, bud.
All right. Bye.
All right, bye. All right, quickly before we go to the next caller, I did not share with you what I want it to be. I basically got really drawn in by the economy video of Star Citizen. I was playing Ultima Online at the time. Like I said, I was very easily able to manipulate the economy in my own advantage. I didn't like that. The idea of the quantum, basically what turned into quantum, I found really interesting. But I did want to become a mogul or something. I'm trying to think of the right word, but like owning land, owning factories, producing things, that kind of stuff, and working with a large group of people to do that. So that's basically what I wanted to do. Yeah, like own a corporation of some kind and but have like all the things going. So like a mining division that brings in the ore, and then the ore gets used in another section of the org, and we'll have combat and we'll do exploration and this, but they all tie into the one goal of becoming very wealthy and being known for our efficiency of some kind, right? But I have a less detailed vision of how that would work, like a lot of people do about the game, because I don't see it. And people can see it in their heads. Like, I think Mike has a really good imagination now about what could be possible in the game. I've become so jaded that it's so cloudy at this point. But all right, let's bring in our next caller, Kaizen. Kaizen, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me, Mike?
I can hear you loud and clear. Hello.
Fantastic. All right. So, it's interesting that you talk about your origin story, and I really, really want to hear at some point a whole sort of in-depth dive into the evolution of Twerk 17 into SaltEMike.
Oh,
But
that was easy. I could quickly tell you
okay,
that.
sure, I'd love it.
More recently, in the last like 2 years, I got a new job, and there are like 3 or 4 actual professional Mortal Kombat players,
Hmm.
and they live stream on Twitch. And some of them, like, this was like back when Fortnite first started too. There was a couple of Fortnite people there, and they were all streaming, and everybody was talking about it. And I wanted to join the conversation, but I was too embarrassed to say my name. That was like the main driver for changing my name. was that
I think it's
I was embarrassed. Yeah.
I think it's hilarious because I've heard from other streams that you do, because I listen to you. I kind of just imagine the break room at your casino with a bunch of dealers sitting around, and you guys are all like pro streamers of one type or another. I think that's probably hilarious.
I mean,
Um,
most of them don't play anymore, but yeah, like they're not streaming or whatever. They don't play professionally anymore, but they were at the time.
right on.
Yeah.
So similar to you, I kind of have an industrial sort of Care Bear background from other games before I came to Star Citizen. In Final Fantasy 14, I had I basically ran the market on my server cluster. I was on NA Exodus and I had 8 characters, alt characters with 8 retainers each, and I had one on each of the other servers on my cluster. So 12 characters with 8 retainers each is 96 retainers with 20 slots for sale. Basically, I was the uber industrialist sort of market nerd in Final Fantasy.
Nice.
And I just got to the point where I was like, all right, I'm kind of like there's no hills left to climb. I was main tank of a free company. We were rating the higher level combat and I just was sort of bored. So I was like, I do that. I go like balls deep into one thing and then I'll just make a weird jump and it might be, oh, I'm going to go back into doing MMA or I'm going to do, just whatever. I'm going to do a video game of some type or bowling or just pool, some shit. Just I dive into one thing and like with OCD.
So
And
what drew you here?
yeah, so I was like I think I want to do another video game, but I'm done with the whole like fantasy whatever.
Okay.
I spent 8 years as a recon marine. I used to shoot people for a living, and I don't like shooter games. They turn me off. I loved them when I was a kid, but they turn me off hugely. So whenever I'm playing video games, I either want to do, space nerd Star Trek shit, or I want to
Yeah.
do Harry Potter, wizard, dragons, whatever shit. I don't like that whole shooter realm per se. So
Fair.
I was kind of like, I'm done with the, dragons and knights and wizards and shit, and I want to hop into something that is space related. So I originally looked at Star Citizen because, the hype, the big, it's the 800-pound gorilla, and I looked into it and I was like, oh, this looks pretty cool, but it doesn't seem like it's anywhere near there. So I actually stumbled into Elite Dangerous because it seemed at the time to me sort of way more polished, way more like it had its act together. And so I was like, all right. So I did Elite Dangerous, and I mean, I hopped in really, really hard. I have all of the stuff. I'm triple elite, and I had I led a group where we picked up. There's an in-game faction that's owned by Frontier. It's not owned by players. You can't control it. But we kind of did anyways. We took it over and we expanded it, the Dark Wheel, in a search for Raxla. And I mean, I've had a podcast and did
You were
interviews with
full
all,
into Elite. Yeah.
yeah, did interviews with all of the community managers and employees from Frontier and the whole 9 yards. And partially, like, just due to the natural progression of me conquering everything that there was in Elite, and partially due to some developmental aspects of some decisions that they made, I started to get to the point where I was like, I need to move on. Like, not leave Elite, not never play Elite anymore, but this is no longer enough to keep me interested. So I gave Star Citizen another look, and
When was this?
about a year ago.
Okay. Yeah, because
And
you're not the elite refugees that are coming now. I know you've been
no,
around for a while, so that's why I wanted to mention that.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I maybe am guilty of bringing a bunch of those refugees over. I've got a couple hundred referrals on my account.
Nice.
And I'm glad to, but I'm very, very careful in how I represent Star Citizen to people. I tell people flat out, I do not want you to come to Star Citizen off of my referral and then be unhappy when you get here. You have to know what you're signing up for, and what you're signing up for is
To be
alpha.
unhappy. Yep.
Well, no, I
I'm just
wouldn't say
kidding.
that. Yeah, yeah. I, for me, I tell them like, I want you to know that I don't recommend, and I tell people on my show every week, I do not recommend anyone make Star Citizen their main game right now. You're going to fall in love with it as an elite refugee, and you're going to make it your main game for a month or two, and that's great. You should do that and enjoy it. But you need to make sure that you know when you get to the point where the bugs are bothering the shit out of you, you need to jump into No Man's Sky. You need to jump into Final Fantasy. You need to jump back to Elite. You need to jump into something else to give yourself a little cool off period so that you can enjoy the progression of the project for what it is without becoming sort of bitter about it. And I feel like you, Mike, are in a rough situation. There are some content creators like yourself who, because you focus on it so much and that was driven out of love and desire and interest in the project, you're in a space where it's harder for you to sort of step back and not be all day every day into it. And I know that you've sort of jumped into eco and jumped into Conan, and you have some fun with some side stuff, and I just strongly recommend to everyone who's coming into the game, enjoy Star Citizen for what it is. Don't go stupid on the spending, and don't make it your everyday driver unless you're at a point where it's not going to bother you, you
Yeah.
know, because it's a really interesting project. And I feel like, I honestly think that you talked earlier about how like one of the Citizen Cons was like a low point for you. To me, I think 2016 has to be the lowest of low points Citizen Con wise. And there was a lot of buildup. There was a lot of, we're going to get the vertical slice of Squadron 42. This and that is right around the corner. And I feel like, just me, the way I look at Star Citizen as a project, I kind of segregate out everything up to about 2017. I think 2016 was the low point. I think if you were to have an honest conversation with Chris, he would tell you, like, yeah, I was sort of talking out my ass. I had all these big dreams and plans and whatever, but while I was very experienced in game development, I was a complete noob at making a company. And oh my God, did we go down some wrong sort of, we went down the wrong hallway and found ourselves in a dead end and had to backtrack and lost a lot of time, whatever.
All right, let me slow you down because there's like
Okay.
12 callers. This isn't a sell anybody on Star Citizen podcast.
No.
Tell
No.
me your origin story.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I appreciate it. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate it. But it's
Okay.
just not for this particular podcast.
Fair enough. So coming from my origin stories is literally before Star Citizen was Elite Dangerous, and comparing the two projects, I found that while both of them are slow in their development, Star Citizen has one, more communication than Elite, and two, a way higher bar of what they are aiming for. So
Mm-hmm.
without getting into like super imaginarium of I'm gonna, single crew an Idris or whatever, like I could just say, like, flat out, yeah, it's gonna take forever to get there. I'm playing other games while I'm playing this. I'm not, if I were to just be focused only on Star Citizen, I would probably get salty too. I'm just having fun here and there, and I am still playing Elite. I am playing No Man's Sky. I have a whole shitload of games in my other stuff in my whatever. But I think that if it works, and yes, it's still a gamble, but if it works, Star Citizen is the only game that I've seen that could legitimately be considered to or aimed at sort of like the Oasis. Like, it is this weird nebulous thing that it's part space game, part FPS, part 19 other different things and part like Second Life all squished into one thing. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll see.
And it yeah, it is a huge if, but for $40, to me, it's worth the ride. So yeah.
So, real quick though, if you were gonna imagine, and what drew you into Star Citizen, what do you want to do in the game if it was possible? Like the point of that for me is not to go, okay, it's gonna take forever. I'm gonna play other games while I do it. The point for this now was when you bought the game, you looked at it, you got excited, but I think in most people's cases, they looked at the game, they got excited, and what excited them was what they thought they could do with the game. And I wanted to hear
Sure.
what everybody said about that. So before we let you go, like what was that thing? What were
I
those
like
things?
I like the idea of starting with my $45 Mustang and
Hell yeah.
spending when the game comes up, building it all. I don't want to, and I'm not shitting on anyone else, whatever. If you want to buy an Idris, hey, brother, enjoy yourself. I'm not your dad. I don't control your wallet. But for me, I want to buy a $45 Mustang. When the game goes live, I want to grind it out. I want to upgrade to a Cuddy Black with a rock in it. From that, upgrade to a MISC. From that, upgrade to, and
Okay.
just get into that economy to the point where I could buy a stupid fuck off 890 jump and just be swimming laps in my infinity pool over a gas giant because I got money like that. But I want it to
Nice.
be in game credits. I have no interest in sort of playing the pledge store game. And it's
Respect.
cool if that's what you're into. It's just not me.
Yeah. Respect. All right, Kaizen. We'll let you go, man.
Ciao.
I appreciate it, man. Be good. Thanks for calling in. All right, we have our next caller, Adventure Jane. Adventure Jane, can you hear me?
Hey, yeah, can you hear me?
I hear you perfect. Hello, hello. So,
Hi, and I want to
your
preface
origin.
beforehand,
Yeah.
pronouns are she and her.
Say it again.
My pronouns are she and her. Just want to preface that beforehand.
Oh, no problem. So, what brought you to Star Citizen? Let's start at like, when was it? What year?
I found it about a year after the Kickstarter. Me and my friends were like 15 at the time,
Uh huh.
and we were immediately sucked in by the possibilities. That it was a game where you could do and be anything. I still have these old art assets on my computer where we were making the organizations, the pages, because you could customize those pages a whole bunch. And we were gonna make an org called Less Than Legal Freelancing, and we were gonna like do all the shady, drug smuggling and protection rackets things,
Okay.
like all that shit that just got you in. And we didn't even have any game packages at the time. Like we were that like hooked. And then about a year later, we did finally get packages after about I think 2.0 had released, like the very basic universe.
Okay, so you
I had
never
gotten
played when it was only Arena Commander, only
no.
yeah, like more
I
when it
think I may have
became
done
the
like
game.
yeah, I think I may have done like a free weekend once, but I couldn't tell you exactly.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I had gotten a 300i package because I wanted the space BMW.
Okay.
And my friend had gotten the Mustang Omega with the graphics card.
Ah,
Um,
yes.
yeah,
Those.
that thing looks sick still today. Um, and we just had so much fun back in that day because we would go to the security station because that's where all the PvP would happen,
Yep.
and we would hide under the landing pads, wait
Yep.
for someone to land, get out, and then swoop in and grab their cutlass. And we like had so much fun like playing around with ships that we could never get otherwise. We were dumb kids. We can't spend $100 freelancer, but you steal one and you can't.
Yeah.
And yeah, we just got so hyped. And unfortunately that ended, I think around, it was the Sandworm CitizenCon.
2016, like the last caller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So what you're
I think
saying is
that's when I
that's when
kind of,
the hype ended for you.
yeah.
Okay.
And that's when I got like more cynical, like, all right, maybe, okay, this game isn't going to be everything we thought it was, but it'll still be cool. And then, like, as the 300i hadn't been updated in forever and still kind of broken, I
Mhm.
just kind of dropped it. And I would say, like, hey, has the 300i been updated? Because I said we're going to refix that. And just didn't play it until they did. And the current 300i is great. I I love my dumb little 300i. I got the red stripes on it, the
Mhm.
special edition thing. Um, and
Is it what you always dreamed of it being?
the 300.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. However, there are like little things that annoy me, like the ladder entrance. I kind of wish that had been like a fold down staircase, like a private jet. But like
Very
that's just,
true. Yeah.
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 Because I remember, like, I want to say it was a dev on some other website saying that, like, ladders aren't really high class, and so I thought that was going to happen, and it never
Mhm.
did.
Yeah. I asked that specifically because I think that is something that happens with Star Citizen where you you it invokes those, and this is why we're like really doing this podcast, is it invokes these thoughts in
Yeah.
your head, right? And you have these um imagination moments that come with the game, and then people do and will get disappointed by the actual implementation of what they imagine things being. I know I fall for that, and I think most people have. So
Yeah.
it is one of the downfalls of like the way they've made the game, but it's also like the best thing about the game is
Hmm.
is doing that. Where do you see yourself and your friends? Are your friends still playing?
No.
No.
Um,
Do you think they'll
I
come
only
back
come
if the game
back
gets
every
better?
update. Possibly.
Okay.
Um, if server meshing is all it's cracked up to be, and the performance is good, I think people would come back.
Sure.
Um, because like you get like a good month or two of gameplay before the next patch comes out and kind of makes everything.
True.
Um, and so I've only come back recently to check out Orison,
Hmm.
because I had gotten sucked into Elite Dangerous.
Oh, really? You're
Um,
like the opposite of everybody. Everybody's
yeah,
coming from Elite. You're going to it. Yes.
yeah,
Talk more
because
about that, I guess.
because like Star Citizen like still wasn't all it's cracked up to be, I finally
Hmm.
decided to check out Elite,
Okay.
and I have like a couple hundred hours in that. Like back when mining was like the moneymaker, I just grinded that day. I have like 1.4 billion credits. I can buy anything I want. And so like now that I can do anything, I kind of come back to Star Citizen to be like, how's this going? Starting from the bottom again, kind of a deal.
Yeah.
Odyssey, like I know a lot of people are leaving because like Odyssey wasn't the greatest. I disagree with that. I think Odyssey is really good, the Space Legs update.
It should be a
Um,
starting point for the game.
yeah,
It's
like,
obviously a starting point, and hopefully it gets better. But I do understand people's frustrations a little bit at the same time.
yeah.
I don't know. Let me ask you a
I
question.
All right.
Like, let's just switch subjects a little bit because we're kind of getting off topic.
Yeah, go ahead.
When you were younger, or I guess, yeah, it has to be when you were younger. What did you see yourself doing? What did you see yourself being in the game? Because you mentioned the like you were watching the game and talking about it with your friends
Mhm.
before you even bought it. So what did you guys talk about? What did you see yourselves doing?
We wanted to be space criminals
Yeah.
smuggling space cocaine across the galaxy. Like
You could
we
do
wanted
that
to be
now, but it just
this,
doesn't feel like that, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
and now, like, with the prison system, and I don't care for that, so I just want to do like I want to get like a hull and just do big cargo because I also played a lot of Euro Truck Simulator,
Okay,
so I'm
I might be
down for
getting
like just
into
doing.
that.
Yeah, it's a good time sink.
Ooh.
Um, and yeah, I just want to be able to just like do fun things now, just
Yeah,
whatever's fun in the game. Not really a specific dream anymore.
yeah. We've all gotten older, you know.
Yeah.
Been a long time since the Kickstarter days. Um, all right, Jane. I don't know. Is there anything else that comes to mind that you'd want to touch on before we go to the next caller here? Trying to think.
Probably not without breaking the positive vibes only rule.
Yeah, I noticed. I noticed. You're a little. You're in
Yeah.
the same spot as I am. You know, we'll get out of
Yeah.
it. I hope, but for right now, it's tough. It's tough. It's a little. It's a dark hole,
Yeah.
and it's a tough hill to climb to get out. But all right, Jane, we'll let you go. Thank you
All
so
right.
much for
See ya.
calling in. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Bye bye now. All right, our next caller is Scuba Steve. How's it going, dude?
Going on, community builder Mike?
Oh, hold on. She was a little low, so I gotta bring you down. We just blew some ears out, I think. All right, I got you. I'm
Okay.
doing good, man. I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm good. Long time listener, first time caller.
Thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. So, what brought you to Star Citizen? You and I go pretty far back. I could maybe guess what brought you in. Was it a
Sure.
Twitch stream?
Well, to start, Twitch has been a big part of it naturally.
Mhm.
But for Star Citizen, it was mainly Chris's old work that kind of
Yeah.
pulled me into it. So in the 90s, I played X-Wing, X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, Wing Commander. I remember discovering Wing Commander when they had speech packs, and you had to, to actually hear people talk, you'd have to put another set of floppy disks. And I played
Really?
all the
I
Wing
never knew
Commanders.
that.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Wing
crazy.
Commander.
Okay.
Yeah, Wing Commander 2 and 1. I believe that it was and it was the same with the original Privateer on floppy disk, where if you
What?
wanted to hear anyone talk, yeah, you purchased a speech pack,
I read
and you
text the whole time.
yeah, you'd purchase a speech pack, and when the game came out on CD, naturally they incorporated those. But yeah, when I
Okay.
met Chris in 2016, I was like, yeah, man, we come a long way from installing some packs to listen to people talk. So it was it was interesting, but predominantly, yeah, I played all of the Wing Commander series. I remember the Wing Commander 3, and I still have those CDs. Where you get the case of like I
Me
think
too.
4 CDs back in Wing Commander 3.
Yep.
It was just massive. And then I have the Wing Commander 4, which was like 7. And then I got the DVD special edition.
I
So I
have Wing
played all of
Commander
the Wing
4,
Commanders.
all 7 discs or whatever it was, but I also have it on PlayStation 2.
Oh yeah, yeah, and Wing Commander 4 had an amazing storyline too. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I never played the console port, but that's really what that's really what I wanted. I actually tried to keep tabs on what Chris was doing when he quit games for a bit.
Mhm.
And then after he went to the movie industry, guy I knew on Facebook, he's like, "Hey man, check this out. Chris is doing something." So hopped over it, saw a little countdown, the golden ticket sign. I was like, "Oh, okay, what's this?" Then didn't really pay much attention to it after that.
Yeah.
And then when the Kickstarter came out, I was with you. I'm like, what is Kickstarter? It doesn't feel right to me.
It really
Um,
didn't.
yeah, it just made. I was like, I don't feel comfortable. Like, there's no company website. There's nothing set up. It just kind of made me felt uneasy. And then when they did launch the website, it had that 90s high school vibe to it. So I was like, yeah, I'll come back to it. And after that, I was like, I think it was December 2013. I was like, all right, let me circle back and see what's happening here. And then had a legit website.
Mhm.
The intro video looked good. And I was like, all right, well, I really enjoyed his prior work. I believed in the guy, so I just picked myself up a Constellation package, and I was like, you know what, I want the Millennium Falcon kind of set up, and multi-crew was very appealing to me.
Sure. That's
And
interesting.
yeah, I'm kind of opposite of a lot of people. I mainly came in for, like I said, the Squadron 42 Wing Commander successor.
Yeah.
That's mainly what I came into. And then as the game progressed and the funding blew up and they made the decision to fork, and that's kind of where Star Citizen came from the multiplayer aspect. Um, I was like, yeah, this is great, but it was really that Wing Commander successor that pulled me in, and Star Citizen itself was just kind of a bonus.
So, yeah, and I'm now with the size of the community now, I'm sure you're in the majority, but at the time you were definitely, or in the minority, I should say, but at the time you were probably the majority of the people who backed the game. Because like that's what I got excited over, I should say too. Is I don't think I was excited necessarily for the, because I found it before the fork as well initially, and I was like, oh, I would love to play another Wing Commander game. I never knew that he made Starlancer or Freelancer. I never. That's when I was like out of, like, I was not playing any video games at all really, and I was playing a lot of poker and online poker and stuff, and I never knew about those games. But when I found out like, oh, Wing Commander, I was pretty hyped, and but what actually made me buy was the multiplayer aspect. So you got to be happy now seeing Chris wanting to go to the UK and really finish off that spiritual successor, right?
Yeah, I know I'm probably, once again, I'm probably in the minority now, but I'd really want them to button it up and put something, a product out. One, so I can play it, of course, and two, so the company as a whole can say, we've delivered on something. Yeah, we've delivered on something. Everything's come to fruition. And I think that's really, really important, because I think that will help. Having a product out there that can be sold on a regular basis will help the organization.
Sure.
In terms of funding, and maybe the reliance on the current strategy will shift. It'll change to a tangible product that they can sell, which I think that's good.
So let me ask you a question then. What after you purchased your package, you wanted the Millennium Falcon kind of thing? What did you see yourself doing in the game? Were you going to be a smuggler or?
I was really having on the Star Citizen side, it was really more of a privateer, a freelancer type experience where, kind of jack of all trades. You might pick up a story mission to go blow someone up, or someone who's been, kind of crime fighting, or, mercenary type scenario, or you may get a mission to go haul a cargo box. And I know obviously in Star Citizen, the mission stories aren't there. But it was along those kind of lines, a freelancer privateer experience where you could do multiple things. Yeah. That's where I envision myself, and I do like the dogfighting, but I'm not that good at it. So that was the main thing, though, kind of the jack of all trades, flying around in a ship and kind of doing my own thing and saying, yeah, I feel like doing this today, and take that ship out. That was kind of the main thing for me.
Okay. Sorry, I've been having internet issues for like 3-4 weeks, so I'm just I typed in chat real quick to figure out what was going on. But yeah, that's cool. I really do want to play Wing Commander again. Like I can't believe you brought up 4 as your favorite, because it's so off of the beaten path from the old storylines from 1, 2, and 3 that I was kind of like embarrassed that it was probably my favorite Wing Commander out of all of them. But I don't know if you said it was your favorite, but it was definitely that you liked it. So I don't know. Out of everything, that was the thing that I liked the most, because I loved that game.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites, and you could tell, like, in 4, like the cast kind of progressed. They kind of got into their groove. Wing Commander 3, I really enjoyed Wing Commander 3 too, because it wrapped up the Kilrathi plot, and that was a long time coming. But then the whole, what do we do after the Kilrathi are gone, and Price of Freedom, Eternal Vigilance, and all that kind of stuff. It was just a great cinematic experience, and you don't have games like that anymore with great cinematic experience. People forget, this is the 90s. Most video cards only had like 4 megs of RAM and stuff like that. It was a good. I'm with you. I think you mentioned this before. The gameplay wasn't amazing, but the story was fantastic, and that's what kept you engaged.
You played, like, the getting through each mission was just a chore to get to the next cutscene.
Exactly.
I don't see Stars or Squadron 42 being any different from that. And I don't see anything wrong with that.
No, neither do I. My
Yeah.
hope is that the gameplay will be more enjoyable given the investment in
Years.
tech and
Yeah.
and years of work going into it. I would hope the gameplay would be next level, because I know even in Wing 3 now they had stuff where like, oh yeah, you fly down to a planet and you go blow up a couple of tanks and you fly up, and
Yeah.
obviously this is going to be way more than that.
Sure. That was like revolutionary at the time, right?
Yeah, it really was. I remember, oh man, I get to cloak and I get to go down to a planet and I get to blow something up on the ground, a little sprite,
Yep.
but it was really cool back then.
Yeah. Well, all right, Steve. I don't know if there's anything else you want to add, but you have the floor before we let you go.
Sure. The other thing, getting on the Star Citizen side of the track, the main thing for me too is the community.
Yeah.
That's also a big part of it because I became financially invested and emotionally invested, which was kind of the first time I really got emotionally invested in a game.
Yeah.
Where Twitch. Obviously, you mentioned Twitch earlier, where I'd jump into a stream and it was, I think back then it was like just you, Saurus, Richard, and Gamble. It was a very small group, and everyone was always willing to let you play and have a conversation. And we tried to make the best of what was out there at the time, like the go turn on the Comray mission, go get security port Korea, go lock it down, 2.0 stuff, and just arena command. It was a very small, tight knit, and Twitch was a very welcoming community from the Star Citizen perspective. So it was the first time that I went to go to events like SitCon, the infamous 2016, where fly all the way LA to get a presentation on the Spectrum. But that was that was the downside.
That was tough.
That was tough. But the best part about it was meeting everybody on and the Twitch community. I met yourself, I met Gamble, I met Richard. Everyone was great. Everyone was welcoming. That was the best part of that one. And then helping found VerseCon. And I think you came to that one too.
I did.
2017. Yeah. And that was the other big component to it. No other game that I've been involved with has had a community that's pretty tight knit, like they are here on Twitch, and you see a lot of same faces in other streams. And that was also the big draw. So there was the gameplay, the tech, but I know we got a long way to go. But that was another big driving force about me hanging out and staying plugged into the daily developments of the game.
Yeah. Awesome. I hope, honestly, I hope we get back to that time where it was like a similar time, but I don't know if we ever will.
Yeah, I don't know if we will either. Obviously back then it was, everyone had grandiose visions about what you could do and what you could be and where things are going. And obviously as the projects progressed, those aspirations have probably narrowed down a bit.
Yeah.
And more people are playing. So naturally that small community feel is
no longer.
Probably, it's not gonna be back. But obviously it's still cool that more people are getting into it.
Yeah.
And people like yourself are able to create weekly content around it on on YouTube and Twitch. It's good. I'm hoping things get better. I know in terms of gameplay, we think things can only go up right now.
Yeah. It can't get worse. It can't get worse. It's for me, this feels like 2016 again. So there was, between 2016 and now, there was a lot of positive things and good things that happened. So let's hope it follows that same path, and I think it might.
Yeah, I hope so too. And at least the one thing that we have that we did not have in 2016, I know we've got weekly updates. And if you remember back in 2016, we went a year without a patch, and that was rough. So still better.
Mm-hmm. That's for sure. And they do communicate more with us on like the more technical side of what's going on and all that. It's not entirely marketing. but it does feel that way sometimes. But all right,
Yeah,
before I get too
it's definitely
negative,
true.
Steve, I gotta go because I'm going down the hole. I'm going down the hole. We're staying
Nah,
positive.
that's not my intent, man.
I know. I brought
yeah,
it there.
that's
I brought
yeah.
it
Well, we're only going up, man. We're only going up.
there. All the way up. All right, Scuba, be good, buddy.
All right, take it easy, Mike.
Bye now. Our next caller is the Strange Creator. I thought that was a poop emoji as your icon at first, but it's actually a fox. Hello. Can you hear me?
I think I'm. Yes, hi. Thanks you so much for having me. Can you hear me? I am on a laptop, so I have a laptop mic.
Dude, you sound amazing for a laptop mic. Like, no joke. I'm not even kidding. Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, that's a good thing, but I would also like to just start by saying I live in India, so if I randomly disconnect, it's because the power went out.
Okay. I live in Florida, so if I randomly disconnect, it's because the power went out. So we're okay. We're on the same page.
Nice to meet you finally.
Nice to meet you.
So my origin story with Star Citizen. I'll tell you where I first started with sci-fi games. My first experience was with this game called Imperium Galactica Alliances, not like to be confused with Empyrean Galactic.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid, I used to wake up at 4 a.m. because I went to this school in India, so I had to get to school I had to leave by 6 in the morning. So used to wake up at like 3:34 to play a couple of hours because I wasn't allowed to play it in the evening and stuff, and it was a lot
Okay.
of fun. And that was my first experience with like sci-fi games, and that
Gotcha.
went into the back of my memory long back. And fast forward to I think January of last year, I watched the internet historian video of the end goodening of No Man's Sky. And I got into No Man's Sky and I dumped like 250 hours into just base building in that game. And I was kind of like running low on what I needed to do, and I was jonesing for a nice sci-fi game. So I did some research and I narrowed it down to 3 games. One would be EVE Online, Elite Dangerous, and this game called Star Citizen, which I got introduced to because I saw the Imagine trailer, and I fell in love with that trailer. I loved it so much. I found the song called Atlas Four Tales, and I learned how to play it on the piano because I really liked that song so much.
Okay.
And I decided, and obviously, I made a decision between these 3 games, and I got Eve. And what happened was when I started Eve, I loaded up the game for the first time and I found a nice trucking org that I could join. And I tried to join it, and it says you have to submit a written application and you have to wait 3 months for a response. So I uninstalled the game. And yeah, so then, so after that, I was like, yeah, I can't deal with this. So then I looked into Star Citizen. Elite didn't catch me on too much. Star Citizen was more like in the back of my mind, you have to play this game. So I was like, now I live in India, so a $45 starter pack is a lot of money here for a game.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Maybe if I save for 2 months, I'll probably actually get this the game, and I'll actually save for 2 months. And I put it aside, and I got the Mustang Alpha starter pack, right?
Okay.
And I was running it on this PC, it's kind of beefy back in the day, but the day was 2009, so it's an old PC, right?
Yeah.
So I was really worried about whether I could run it or not, but it did have the minimum requirements to run Star Citizen. So I booted up the game, spawned in Lorville, saw 12 FPS, and immediately I had a heart attack, and I was like, can I refund this? Shit. Like, so I was losing my mind. So it took me 2 days to get off Lorville.
Oh my
And
God.
I wasn't used to like online games at that point of time. Like I was just like, let's see if I can get off Lorville. And I decided to actually finally manage to get into my ship, and I flew up into space, and it was just beautiful. Like I was blown away by the fact that I could just fly into space, like from sitting in the ship to flying into space without a loading screen in the middle. Like I'll get back to how much that spoiled me later, but just flying into space for the first time was just such a beautiful experience, and the frame rate improved. And I was like, hallelujah. Now I looked at it and I was like, okay, I can play this game. So then I started exploring and doing stuff. And I was at Grimhex, where I just randomly was standing next to this guy at the ASOP terminal whose name was Dan. So at that time, I just learned that if you hold plus on the numpad, it's push to talk.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, let me just try and say hi to this guy, and I am still friends with him to this day. Yeah, I've not played with him in a while, but I just spoke to this guy standing next to me, and the experience in a game where you don't have to go through menus or anything. You naturally just walk up to somebody and talk to them, you know.
That's
And
awesome.
it blew my mind. Yeah, it blew my mind. My first best experience in Star Citizen was I was at Grimhex, and this is before I knew about like push to talk and like the voice thing, and I didn't know it was on by default.
Uh-huh.
I was just running through Grimhex, and I hear this voice in the distance screaming, "Help me!" And I'm like, okay, is this an NPC mission or something? So I go down and I see there's this guy stuck in the elevator, and he's like, "Help! I'm stuck in the elevator." And I was like, "What?" This is a weird NPC mission. And it took me a while to realize it's the real guy. And then it was just the next half an hour, just us guys laughing, trying to like crawl, jump through the elevator because it's those two front doors that weren't opening.
Oh
And it
yeah.
was and it's just stuff like that, that was just so natural and just like so unbelievable. It's like experiences you can't have in any other game, right?
The guy who
And
made
that
that
blew me away.
elevator is in Twitch chat, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gave me one of the greatest experiences of my life, unintentionally. That was really funny. I really loved that experience. So yeah, once I started playing the game and getting a little tired of like the missions, like I started mining because I'm a lover, not a fighter. So I would never got into combat much, right? And plus I wouldn't last like 2 seconds against anybody. So I was like, let's what you call try something different. So I realized that I could record footage, and I just upgraded to a laptop. Well, not an upgrade, kind of like a side grade, but I got a laptop for work, and that laptop was more modern and running Windows 10. And I was like, okay, maybe it ran Star Citizen better. It had about the same specs as my old PC,
That's
but it
funny.
ran better. Yeah, so I was like, okay, let me try recording some footage. So then I realized that you can record some really cool footage in this game. So I called a friend and I told him, hey, you want to help do some voice acting with me? It doesn't have to be high quality because I'm going to put like this radio filter over our voices. And 3 months later, I put up this video on a brand new YouTube channel I started, and it was called Stanton Delivery. And I was like, yo, let's put this out there. And I watched, and it just kind of blew up on Reddit. And
I think I
the
saw it, yeah.
feedback I got, you saw it?
I'm pretty sure I
Oh my
did,
God.
yeah.
And I was just so blown away by like the community just being really amazing with like the feedback and like the support. And it's such a beautiful community to be a part of. And then I just started making content and just started making footage. So I never ran out of things to do in the game. And but the problem is the
Oh, we
moment I
watched it
put that
last
trailer out,
week. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, people were sending me videos and somebody linked it last week. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Like
did
wasn't
you like
Dig
it?
That in it?
Yeah, Dig That was yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I approached Dig That and I told him like, hey, can you give me a voiceover for this, like a cameo voiceover? And he
Yeah.
was so nice about it. He gave me like a room tone test with the recording and everything, and it was just like this 1 minute dialogue that I wanted in the beginning. And I was so blown away by like the support from the community and everything. And props to Dig That 32, just a complete nobody, just coming up to him in the email and he just giving me a voiceover was just amazing.
That video was really funny. It was like out of all the videos we watched, I think that was everybody's favorite. If anybody has it in Twitch chat, can you guys link it so people in Twitch can see it, and then also so I can put it in the YouTube comments?
Thank you
Please,
so much. I
that'd
really
be
appreciate
awesome.
that.
Nah, yeah, it was awesome. But yeah, I guess yeah, like keep going. So you're here, you now have your laptop and you start making videos.
Yeah. So I started making videos, and the problem was that if you notice, that video was like heavily hinging on the emotes, right? Because
Yes.
you can't record another character doing something without, like, if you're using your character to record and you're trying to record somebody else, because of the desync, they look like they're having an epileptic fit while looking at the shader bugs. They're just
Yeah.
spasming, so you can't see anything, right? So it's impossible to record somebody else. So everything has to be done with your own character. So you have to be both the characters in the shot, in the scene. You have to like figure out how to do this, how to do that, and it was super tricky to try and get like recording two characters having a conversation with one computer. And I started experimenting more with like cinematic tests, and then I made this video called "The Majesty of Star Citizen."
Uh-huh.
And that one is just a visual thing, visual exploration, and it was just that one blew up. That one got like I did not imagine to get as many views as it did, but it just blew up and it just blew my mind. But the moment I put out Stanton Delivery, 3.10 came out and the emotes stopped working.
Yep.
And yeah, and finally, and my since then, my flair on the subreddit has been CIG, please fix the emotes. And now that 3.14 came out, I have to change my flair to thanks for fixing the emote CIG. Like, I think I owe them that. Yeah, but I think that's my experience. I've met so many amazing people like Rainbow Wrangler and Holdfast Homie and Moxie13, and the list goes on. Family, Bart is here. I can't shout out everyone because I've just met so many amazing people through Star Citizen and Twitch that, and I have to give props to like Citizen Dan, Rotnar, Dragon Lord Ragnar, a lot of people who've just been like so supportive and have just been so amazing to me. Just kind of like, um, just they've just helped me build like something. I've never done game content creation before. I've worked in film video production for like 11 years,
Okay.
but I thought like I was like, let me try bring those skills here. And yeah, now it's just like I don't know where to go right now. I actually have 2 videos I want to do, but I'm kind of waiting on permission to use specific songs from specific artists that I've approached and stuff. So I'm waiting for that. So nothing out for a while right now.
Okay. Well, we'll keep our eye on it for sure. I guess I'll ask you this before we go: is where do you see yourself in the game?
The 2 things I really want to do in the game, one is I really want to have like a nice base. Like this is again really long way off. I don't know when it'll ever come, but I just want to have a nice
Doesn't matter.
base where I can like
Yeah.
mine and just chill and just watch sunsets and like people come and visit and buy resources from my mining outpost.
Oh, yes.
And the other thing I want to do is the thing that really blew me away was the idea of media gameplay. Just the audacity to have that idea for a game, like media gameplay, right? I was like, yo, that is something I would really want to see how it done.
The Reliant, like that ship?
Yeah. The Reliant
Yeah.
Ton. Although I really I don't know. I'm too spoiled by my Avenger Titan, which is the only ship I have like in
Okay.
cash that I've bought. Like I never bought anything after that. Everything else is in game. And so I don't know. I really want to try and see like what you call media gameplay. I really hope that we get like press badges. Like, don't shoot this ship. He's shooting footage. And like stuff like that would be nice to have. But I don't know how they're gonna do it. But I'm super excited for like just having a nice quiet base, just sitting down, watching sunsets. People come visit. People buy stuff. People fly away. And just like running it and upgrading it and building it over time. That's just what I want to have, just like a quiet settle down thing.
Okay. Well, The Strange Creator, that was really fun. That video was awesome. I can't
Thank you
wait
so
to
much.
to link it and probably watch it again. And yeah, your origin story was super interesting and unique and awesome. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me, man.
Anytime, man. Be good.
Yep, you too. Peace.
Bye-bye. All right, our next caller is Elf Wizard of Chaos. Hello, can you hear me? Mr. Wizard.
Yes. Can you hear
Hello?
me?
I do.
Yes. Awesome.
So, your origin story. How did you find Star Citizen? What brought you here?
Well, my origin is I heard about it way back when in the Kickstarter from some guys I knew that were way into tech, and they're like, "Hey, you should check out this project. It's like going to be bigger than anything else ever." And I looked into it, and this was back in the Kickstarter, and I'm like, this doesn't look super legit. So I unfortunately deployed shortly after, and then completely forgot about it. And then a couple of deployments, continued to forget about it, and then retirement comes up. I'm like, hey, I remember a couple of years ago I heard about this awesome game, and I want to take a look at it. So I did some searches, and lo and behold, found out it was called Star Citizen. And the very beginning of 2016, bought myself a starter pack.
Okay.
And yeah, I've been watching the
Which
stream,
one?
so yeah, I know 2016 is not a great year.
No. Which starter pack? The Aurora or the Mustang?
I bought the Aurora, but
Okay.
shortly after I bought it, I upgraded it to a Gladius because I'm like, yeah, this Aurora doesn't look like it's going to be able to.
Don't you talk about my Aurora like that, okay?
But yeah, the whole reason I got into it though was because old school gamer. I started with Wing Commander, Star Trek 75th Anniversary. Been playing like the Star Trek was crew the one where you're on the deck, you're on the command bridge, Star
Oh,
Trek Command.
Star Trek Command.
And I was like,
Crew
I want a
Command.
game where I have an actual ship, like a fully physicalized ship that I can go and do whatever I want with. And so, yeah, the first time I loaded up Star Citizen, I had a big old grin on my face because here's a ship that I can walk around and walk in and do whatever I want with. The very next day, I bought myself a reclaimer.
Nice. And
Yeah, and
salvage is
I
on the
walked
way.
through that with
Kind
Star
of.
Citizen. Yeah, I'm going by the hope for the best, plan for the worst. So, yeah, I've got my hopes, but I'm not planning on anything. As far as I'm concerned, I've kind of already gotten what I really wanted. I walked through the reclaimer, and it felt like I was on the Nostromo.
It really does. That the interior of that ship. If you guys have not like maybe like looked through a walkthrough or something like that on YouTube of it, the interior of that ship is so cool.
Yeah, I
so
mean, when you
cool.
go into the the dining area, that table, I could like picture the guy with the alien popping out of his stomach right there on that dining table.
Yeah, I think that's what they were going for too.
Yeah, and I tried to ignore all the issues the reclaimer has, but yeah, it got me in. So I'm like, the reclaimer is awesome. I can walk through it. So what am I going to do next? I got myself the pirate caterpillar.
Nice. Yeah, this has like somebody in chat said, well, that escalated quickly.
Well, yeah, I had just retired, so I had my nice big retirement bonus. So
Nice.
I kind of went full in. I haven't bought anything yet or since, but I did get my big four: Caterpillar, Reclaimer,
Okay.
Banu Merchantman, and the Orion.
All right. So very economic, very industrial. What do you see yourself doing in the game then? I think I could tell, but tell me your story.
Yeah, well, I kind of like your earlier caller, Kai. I kind of got tired of the whole first-person combat. You do it in real life, and games just aren't as exciting, I guess would be the best word.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm full on gonna be just this retired guy in space, putting around, mining, trading, just capitalist.
Very nice. A K capitalist. Very good. Yeah, that's me too. So we're gonna be competition for each other, and I am going to lobby the government to destroy you. No, just kidding. I don't know. I very much have like always liked working together and playing with other people. So whatever I can do to make things work with other people in any way, that's what I'll do. But I definitely see myself attempting like everything basically.
Yeah, no, I definitely see myself as a team player. You say competition, but I'm probably not going to be as into it hardcore as you are. I'm just going to be putting around, making sure that I'm staying in the black and not getting red. But yeah, I got those things because right now my favorite thing to do is just get into the game and meet new people and then just like run around the verse and whatever they're doing, I'm game. It's just great to like run up to somebody and like, hey, are you having any trouble? Can't spawn your ship. How about I spawn mine and we just go do whatever?
Yeah, I mean I can't say it enough. Like the world that they've built so far, I'm so excited to play a game in it. Like it's what keeps drawing me back is the excitement for playing a game not just in the Stanton system, but with the Stanton system so far, it's just so cool. So,
Massive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, that was
Go ahead.
the greatest thing too, was like the you start on a planet, you're standing there, you see this huge expanse of planet, hop into a ship, and next thing you know, you're looking at this tiny little sphere that was the planet you were standing on. The scale is just epic at times.
Yeah, and I think for me, it's more the variation in, like, maybe I guess the best word is like biomes. So like you're on a place like Yella, and then 5 minutes later you're on the desert of Daymar, and how different they
Yes.
look, and hopefully how different the experience will be on either of those is cool. And now they're tying in the idea of like, okay, well, you know, putting on a different suit or different types of clothing, it enhances that experience for me.
Yeah, very much. I like that now I'm going, okay, what suit am I wearing on this hot planet versus just wearing anything environmental? Because now I've got to actually worry about this suit doesn't protect me from heat, so I need to switch to that suit.
Yeah. And now for me, it's their big job is to draw us and keep us outside more, so that stuff matters more. But I'm really excited for that, and yeah, I can't wait. Is there anything else you want to add, Elf, before we go? We did
Well,
your origin. We did what you want to do, but go ahead.
I know, and I probably talked a little too fast. No, it's just one of the things that I'm kind of excited about and got my imagination running was the whole idea of, players being able to start the game without a ship on a planet, doing missions there, and then hopping like the Starliner and going to another planet. And so you don't even need to get yourself a ship or all this other fancy stuff. You can start at this basic level and work your way up, as opposed to all of us whales and dolphins, buying these big massive ships and doing all this stuff. You can actually start at that very basic micro scale and then work yourself up to the macro.
Do you know what? Like I want to piggyback off of that a little bit. The idea of being in a place like Lorville, or being in a place like Orison or New Babbage, and only doing missions there.
Right.
Never leaving that, or not never, but spending enough time there that the quantum travel that you took there doesn't feel the way it does now, right? Where sometimes it's like, all right, that was a little long. I went and made lunch, and now I'm there. But like the time that it takes to get to and from one place, if we're able to spend that much time there, it'll be so awesome. Like the rooftops on New Babbage,
never
the
having
Orison,
to
all
actually
that
leave
stuff.
a planet if you don't want to.
Exactly. And yeah, like even if it's just going to another outpost on Hurston from Lorville, which I think, they did pretty well with that initially, but didn't build out so much from it yet. But it does sound like, but from the roadmap updates and the Montreal team and things like that, that's sort of becoming a priority, and that's super, super exciting. I can't wait.
Yeah. There's just so much possibility, and it's just waiting for them to see how they implement it.
True. It's true. Well, all right, Elf. We'll let you go. We'll get to our next caller because we do still have quite a few people in here wanting to tell their origin stories as well. But I appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yes. Thank you for your service as well. All right. We're going to bring in Bacon. Bacon is our resident White Knight in the Discord. Bacon, can you hear me? Bacon, I'm gonna push you out. I'm gonna push you in with the legal guy because your mic's not working. Okay. So I don't hear your mic. I'm assuming you can hear me. I'm gonna put you in chat with him, and then maybe you guys can work it out. All right. Let me bring in Novasoon while Bacon works that out. There we go. Novasoon, can you hear me?
Hey there. Can you
Hello.
hear me?
I do. So
Great.
tell me your origin story, Nova.
Cool. So let's go back into the mind of 2014 Nova Sun.
All right.
Well, that was when I started essentially. So we have to go a little further back. There was a couple of friends that I had that were big into hardware. So get the best computers, do all that stuff. Star Citizen was the game essentially. They wanted to sell me on the scale of it. They basically got me into the cockpit of I think probably the Super Hornet.
Okay.
And then basically into the docking module to get it around in it. So he also had VR. Pretty much almost made me puke. How janky it was back then. Like you lost control of your body. You were just going upstairs so badly, and basically that would have been a nightmare. So that was 2013. I ended up switching jobs, and lost contact with that friend for a little bit. Then things happened in 2014. Was on a contract. Sorry, a little further back in my background, Star Wars was my big thing. I started with X-Wing versus TIE Fighter,
Okay.
Descent Free Space, all those like space fighting games. So that was my jam essentially. So um, the catalyst in 2014 was actually Guardians of the Galaxy. Basically,
Okay.
that whole world, the way it was built out, the storyline essentially, it hit me on the right chords. So I was then into the lore of Star Citizen. I was watching videos. Their passion and their ego were definitely apparent in their videos. So like with the Super Hornet, I watched the trailer of it, which was really cool. I really enjoyed that. Then yeah, just them talking about what the world was supposed to be, the idea of it being an ocean instead of a puddle, all that stuff basically sounded like they had a goal, they had a vision, and they just basically sold it. So I bought the Super Hornet as my starter package. The idea was I was going to link my turret and my guns so that I'd have a little bit of a beefier ship, and I expected it to be pretty good in that world essentially. Um, got into it, started playing around, but found that even in that generation, I wasn't as good as I used to be. The joystick didn't work as well as I wanted it to. I still have to upgrade to a joystick, so I'm now one of those keyboard and mice plebs these days. But essentially, it didn't hit me the same way that Descent Free Space 2 did back in the day. But keeping it positive, essentially, I was just like, okay, cool. I think I can see this world. I see what goes on there. In terms of what I do in games, MMO first, so like World of Warcraft, that type of thing. World of Warcraft Classic has been amazing. I just
Mhm.
basically do the routes. I do the mining, I do the herbing, and all that stuff. TBC, not as much. It's a lot smaller than Classic was, so it's not hitting me. And then to Star Citizen, the goal was salvage. And then
Okay.
basically that was my 2016 until 2021 Nova Sun. Literally just staring there, watching it. I played Hard Space Shipbreaker, which
Yeah.
actually was really nice because it gave you an idea of it, but I didn't want to be a human doing it. I wanted to be a ship guy. So basically that's sort of my thing. So to your credit, Mike, I just want to give you kudos. You are the perfect person for a traveler like me who's doing other games because your misery inside of it helps me see, okay, what's good, what's bad, how are the ships performing, what's going on there, and I'm not committing my own time, plus I don't have to commit my hard drive space for it. So I just wanted to commend you there.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad my misery makes yours less miserable.
Yeah, exactly. It's always fun to check out the memes and everything, so definitely beneficial in that capacity. But yeah, like Hard Space Shipbreaker was a good realization that salvage could or couldn't be exactly what I'm looking for. Um, in terms of like where I end up spending my time once we get to end state, I think I'm going to be mainly in space. Like basically, the idea
Yeah.
for me was Arena Commander. I was looking for that type of thing. So you get to a planet, you port down to it. You don't have to fly down to it. I'm not really too worried about the 10 to 15 minutes of immersion there. I'm also not here for first person, just like a lot of the other callers. Different reasons though. I'm not a military buff or anything like that. It's just literally I'm not here to play a first person game. So
Sure.
having that combat, having the ground vehicles is like great for sandbox, but not to me because it removes focus from the space fighting, which was how Chris Roberts sold me on the 2014 Nova Sun. I was just going to be that fighter in that ship. I was going to do that, maybe land on a space station and all that good stuff, but that was pretty much my vision of the game. So I won't say it's disheartening, but it was basically a little different watching the worlds expand, watching the focus move to how combat and how movement of the characters were, how we're doing the melee combat and all that stuff, which again, great for a sandbox, just not to what I was aiming for. So that's where Squadron 42 comes up as a beacon for me, which is going to be where I'm going to end up jumping back into pretty much everything.
Okay.
Because to me, that's going to be that type of experience, like as you were saying, where you're getting the cinematic gameplay, you're getting that in like I'm trying to think like Last of Us 2 or Last of Us. I know Last of Us 2 has some controversy, but that type of gameplay where you're moving between missions, but the actual storyline is more your big focus of it, essentially.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that'll be really fun. But yeah, your story's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
What do you think of seeing Salvage like being on the roadmap and maybe actually sticking?
Copium is basically my thing. Like, is there one where it's just like people fade into copium basically? Like it's just I have been burned so many times. I've spent a couple years going onto the forums, Spectrum, getting white knighted, basically saying, "Hey, I just wanted to double check with you guys. It's been 2019. Where's the salvage? 2020, where's salvage?" And then just being told, "Hey, you're stupid. You're not looking at it the right way. You're whatever." Like basically just humans being humans, basically.
Yep.
But it's
Good old
getting
Spectrum.
frustrating. Yeah, exactly. It's getting frustrating with the I told you so's. Like basically, it's like, okay, cool. I've got 3 years of history saying I told you so, but eventually it's like, well. But to your question, copium, literal copium. It's basically like I'll hear about it, I will listen to people's hope about it, but show me actions basically. Show me the vulture in game. Show me a model of it. Put me inside of it, and then maybe we can start talking about it. But we go from there.
Salvage is the one that scares me the most to find out the design. Like when they actually go in and start doing the videos on it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like my vision
I feel like
of
their
it is
vision
basically,
and mine are going to be totally different or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. Like my vision is from Serenity, where you've got them coming up from the planet essentially, and there's just all these dead derelict ships, and you just come in with your version of Mal's ship, basically your Firefly, and you just take apart stuff. You get attacked, maybe you don't get attacked. You're basically just in that world, and more danger, better, that type of thing. Just give me my asteroid field. Oh, cute kitty.
Thanks. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see. But all right, Novasun, is there anything you want to add before we go to our next one?
No. I see a couple behind me, so I want to keep it efficient. I appreciate the conversation. Definitely gives me a little bit of invigoration to look at it a little better and maybe even load up PU. But maybe 315 is a little more stable when we go into it.
Yeah, we'll see. I hope so. I mean, there's a lot of things coming into that, so typically lots of things means lots of instability, but we'll see. They dealt with a lot of stuff in this patch too, and there weren't a lot of things, so we'll have to see.
Yeah, no, for sure. The new flight model gives me a bit of hope. Well, a little bit of copium to basically say, okay, if I can learn this model and now I know what the game is expected to release with, then I'm a lot further ahead than I was in say like 2019, where the discussion was always flight mechanics. So we'll go from there.
All right, brother. We'll let you go.
Thank you much for having me.
Be good. Thanks for coming on and sharing your story.
Cheers.
I know. All right, let's bring on Bacon. He got his mic worked out. Bacon, can you hear us? Can we hear you?
Yes.
I hear you.
Yeah, I broke myself. It was Will.
It was what? Uh-oh.
The Will meme guy.
Ah, okay.
He broke my mic.
Gotcha. It was his fault. So tell me, it was the elevator guy, right?
Exactly, the train guy.
Yeah. So guess what? You're the biggest white knight that I know in my community. But I don't think your story is going to be any different than any of ours. So I'm interested to hear yours.
Yeah, it's different in some aspects of what backers kind of get into Star Citizen for.
Okay.
So I I saw the Star Citizen Quick Starter when it launched.
All right.
And it became what I saw of the game there did not attract me. Like it was mostly the space, and it was Squadron. It was only on 2014, right? That with the Constellation trailer, like I didn't follow the game, and then the Constellation trailer popped on my feed somewhere. I don't know how, it was on a search. And I watched it, and it was the multi-crew bits, the being on a ship with people and doing that exploration and different roles, that got me to start searching up the rest of the game. And until that point, I didn't realize Star Citizen was not just the space sim, pure space sim. It actually was more multiplayer, co-op and PvP driven. And it was then that I started searching up the game, and the biggest aspects that got me to buy it then was really the multi-crew, and it was the economy aspects. I've always played MMOs, pretty much always played MMOs, long-term games. I don't really do the short-term just of game. And I always led guilds, and it's mostly economy play. I love the markets, and sometimes rigging the markets as a group, larger scale operations. That's not really gameplay, but it kind of, for people maybe like me, it is.
Okay.
And when I saw Star Citizen Economy was meant to be a bit more dynamic than just being that static pre-scripted thing, that became really attractive on it. Then I pledged it in 2014, right? And I kind of just follow then every now and then. I just check it in on Arena Commander, didn't got to play then. And then it was only after the PU released the version 2.0 that I started checking in more frequently, and a group of friends of the communities and the guilds we had before started also to buy the game.
Makes sense.
From then on, we just played as a group. Like I cannot really play this game solo. Like I don't really like to pilot ships, which is strange for a space sim.
Nope, I'm with you. I hate piloting the ships. I love being a crew member.
Yes.
I way prefer it.
And I always wanted this thing on an MMO, because MMOs have been so copy-paste for so long. And there was never something like this. I always wanted, what about this space game and an open game that has planets and ships, and you could just be your own character and do things like a sandbox, more than not just a typical RPG. And there was never a game like that. And when Star Citizen started to show it's more multiplayer and it has that multi-crew, that was the sell point.
Okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I kind of lost my track.
It's okay. Well, let's take it in this direction. Now that we have your story of like how you got into the game, where do you see yourself playing the game when it's more finished? Do your friends still play? Do you still play with them?
Yes. Strangely, like since 2014, it's still the same group of people.
Okay.
But we don't. I kind of keep myself positive about the game because I avoid wearing me down, because I see that the game doesn't cope with trying to play it seriously at all. What becomes a fun experience because you want that type of multi-crew co-op adventures, and allows you to kind of not have the issues and the bugs kind of being too disruptive, start becoming really annoying if you putting a lot of time into it. And when I started seeing that, I kind of just, I'm going to play other games. I tried Elite, similar games to Star Citizen. For a while I tried to look for one, but it was always missing something, some key there. Elite, the multiplayer co-op aspect is just poof, not there.
What's
No Man's
missing?
Sky, the same thing.
What
It's
are
missing
you
the multiplayer.
Well, yeah, but what do you see? Is that what you see yourself doing? Just multi-crew and then whatever floats your boat that day with your friends?
Yeah.
Okay.
Guild the organization running, really.
Yeah.
I always run guilds, and on this game, it really works for groups of people that just like to play together.
Yeah.
It's still unclear, as you know, like what will be exactly the org play on this game, like what mechanics will be there for
Orgs 2.0 when?
Yes.
When?
What will be the content besides just because orgs now are relying a lot on these emergent things like let's just go out there and make a race, or let's organize a PvP skirmish somewhere.
Yeah, I can't
Because
do
the
that.
the game doesn't natively is doing that, but it just shows that that's where the potential of the game is, and that's where I hope the developers see this is where the game and the mainstream potential of the game is. On multi-crew, because a lot of people won't get used to the space sim. Just the controls and the learning curve, it's just not gonna please those people.
Yeah, it's true. I am looking forward to that stuff as well. The running of an organization might be more fun. I never thought I was gonna want to, but the more I've done it, the more I've enjoyed it. We actually haven't invited anybody to our org yet. So we'll play together and pretend to be our org, but I'm not adding anybody to the website because I know I'll have to redo all of it, and I don't feel like doing that.
I do the same thing. I have a large community, but I don't announce the game. I don't advertise the game because I know like it has to get to that point where, okay, now it's the stage that it's good to call our friends in. Like there's something there that can retain. Now it's performance, it's stability. It needs more depth, and then yes, it's gonna be the time.
Well, all right, Bacon, is there anything else you want to add about your story before we go to our next?
No, it's just a continuous one. That's why I'm pretty much, like I said, more positive about the game, even though I've been here for a longer time than most people. I believe a lot of the older people just poofed somewhere else.
Yeah, it's true.
But it requires a different type of approach to not wear down.
It's true, and I am worn out. All right, Bacon. We'll let you go,
copium.
man. Yep, I got to take
thank
some
you.
copium. Bye-bye, man.
Bye-bye.
All right, the next caller is Azraziel. Azraziel, hello.
Hi, Mike.
Hello.
Yeah, origin story. Star Citizen. Oof. 2013.
Okay.
Yeah. Not sure. I get it. It was a little bit after closing the Kickstarter or whatever, and then they had their own website. I'm not sure. But basically, how I got into it, it's a little bit boring, but very simple. A friend of mine, a guildmate from World of Warcraft, was like, yeah, World of Warcraft days, yada yada. We should also. He also likes space games and all the sci-fi stuff. And then he was like, "Oh yeah, I found this on Kickstarter and I already baked it, and maybe you're interested too." And yeah, I looked over it. I saw the first video Chris did in the. He was sitting in the Hornet. I guess was the first video. And basically, with my whole background, the idea of a big MMO sandbox space sim was really appealing to me because I looked at EVE Online, but I'm not really a fan of like, oh, third person 24/7 and oh, you're on board of this ship. Yeah, oh wow, yeah, I really am on board of this ship. No. And then also like the other background. When I was younger, I was playing this space game X3 from Egosoft.
Okay.
If you know it.
I'm familiar, yeah.
Okay. And back then, with my best friend, he came over on a weekend with his PC, and normally you play games together like Battlefield 2142 or something like that online. But no, we had X3, and everyone did his own campaign. And because in X3 you could basically be a pirate, you could be a merchant, a miner, you could be a lot of different stuff for back in the days. I mean, you could even build your own space stations and factories and all that stuff. And we were always like, why is no one modding it? Why isn't there like a multiplayer online version for it? And when I saw Star Citizen, I was like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Because I really like the idea. Because I like sci-fi and fantasy games. I'm not only focused on sci-fi or whatever, but I guess the general idea coming from World of Warcraft and all these other games I played back then, Counter-Strike, Source in a clan, World of Warcraft in a guild, and the general thing, what drives me or what I really most enjoy in any game is having adventures together with your friends. Being like, the one story that one guy told here was the elevator that someone was stuck in there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If something like that happens to you and your friends, I mean, that's the best thing what can happen to you, and the coolest thing, I guess. And when it comes to Star Citizen, I mean, they were talking about a lot of different what's it called, professions, from a miner, a salvager, marine, even a doctor or whatever. I was like, yeah, that's totally fitting, and I guess that's the thing. I guess a lot of us people are like so different, and everyone is good at something else. And the thing is, I have a feeling that when Star Citizen is not an imagined territory like 5-10 years from here or whatever.
A true
or if
realist.
releases, yeah. Because I'm kind of, I wouldn't say, no, that's far too strong. I didn't give up on Star Citizen, no, but I'm more like I don't know if there's a specific name in the community for that, but I'm more like I would say a dolphin or whatever, because I dive into a patch, look what's new, or if there's something what interests me. The last one was like with the when the M2 come out, the M2 Hercules, because I have one. I looked at the ship and stuff, and then I was like, yeah, okay, it's fine, but I can't trade right now because 30k and trading is kind of meh, and you're better off doing bounty missions. And then I was like, okay, see ya till next year or whatever.
Do you know what we call those? Normal people.
Okay.
Yeah, you're just normal, man.
Okay, because I'm kind of like, when I see you board or morphologists always playing like Star Citizen, I'm like, haven't you explored everything right now? Haven't you tried everything? Because it's doesn't
different.
much more.
It's our career. It's different.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, you were talking maybe a few streams ago about what are you going to do with Star Citizen right now, because there isn't that much in the current patch.
Yeah, it's tough. So we do stuff like
really
this.
hard.
We just talk about it, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what we're stuck with now. I hope 315, it does still look promising, but I'm assuming it's going to be a small step in the right direction and not as big of a step as it would be to play every day. But I hope it's better. We'll see.
I'm a little bit scared of the death of a spaceman stuff.
In the buggy experience, yeah, it should be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, okay, to be honest, I'm not really a fan in general, but even in the beginning I knew, okay, there's permadeath, whatever, okay, let's roll with it. But in general, I'm not a real big fan of permadeath, like, because I'm always like,
it's okay.
Like
I'm sure you could buy more genes and never die, because
or I just float in the middle of nowhere with my spaceship, never leaving it.
Yeah,
not just kidding. But yeah, it's more like I like to gather stuff. I like to earn titles and stuff. I'm coming from, of course, Battlefield, World of Warcraft background, and then I mean, imagine losing your character in a game like World of Warcraft permanently, and you have to start all over again. It's kind of like, wow.
That's why I just
no.
don't buy it. Like, I don't buy it being a thing.
Yeah.
We'll see though.
Wasn't it only like with reduced stuff that you lose a certain part of your money or reputation and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I don't know how much titles will be a thing. Because if titles were a thing, then I don't think permadeath could be, right?
Yeah,
And-
that's kind of
and
like that would be weird.
Can we touch on that a little bit more? Is that what you want to do and be, is make a name for yourself or grind certain reputations like your traditional MMOs like World of Warcraft?
I would say like 50-50.
Okay.
I mean, it's a good part. I mean, why not give your character a title if you at a certain organization, be it NPC organizations like the Merchant Guild or Bounty Hunter Guild or whatever,
Yeah.
and you did maybe, I don't know, kill or catch a pirate king or have killed like 100 pirates. Okay, not all. Yeah, catch. It's not really in game now. You can't catch a pirate or whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, you have to make boom boom.
True.
But yeah, why not give your character a title or something like that? And then as an, okay, that's a little bit weird, in heritage, maybe like, oh, your grandpa was pirate killer XY or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. Or maybe, okay, title, okay, but maybe he gets a trophy or a medallion or something, and
There you go.
can hang
And
it
that
on
can
board
get
the ship.
passed. Yeah.
Yeah.
My grandpa
would
did
be
this. Yeah.
Yeah, but here you can see on your family tradition wall, we come from a great pirate hunter guild or whatever, and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
That's why they'll be like
But
permadeath, but I don't think it'll be as impactful as some people may think or the way it sounds.
Yeah, and to be honest, I guess you can't kind of do that. Imagine that one guy just grinding his way up all the way from a prospect or no space vehicle whatsoever to a prospector, to a mole, to the Orion. And then some pirates attack him, blow everything up, he dies, and then he has to start all over again.
Yeah.
After like maybe 2 years of playing or whatever. It's a stupid example, but yeah, I guess everyone gets the idea.
Yeah, for sure.
For me personally, what I want to do in game, I spend a little bit of money because back then I had money. I'm not one of those. What was the big package, Legatus package or whatever?
Yeah.
I didn't buy those, no. But currently I have a Scorpius, the Orion, the Perseus, Tonk, and the M2.
Okay.
And my background is like, because I have a few friends, and that's why I come back to all the, everyone is different, everyone wants to do different stuff. I have one friend, he really wants to do the medic gameplay stuff. And others want to do the bounty hunter and mercenary gameplay stuff. And I was like, no, because I know how it is in all the shooter games and stuff. If someone has a knife, he stands like 2 meters away, he fucking knifes me for no reason, and he can do that. And if I have a knife, I stand right next to him, I can knife him however I want, and I die. And when it comes to space combat, I know if I'm out there in space, there's this one ace pilot, whoever it may be, he insta-kills me for no reason or whatsoever. I know my luck. I wouldn't say I'm a super bad pilot or whatever the fuck. It's just like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I want to be a more supportive guy in the guild or org. And then I was like, yeah, mining is super fun. I mean, I did it in WoW. Okay, that's maybe a more lame. It's a more lame experience because in World of Warcraft you just go to an ore thing, you click it and then you get it. Wow.
Yeah.
But I really like the idea in Star Citizen, and I was really kind of fascinated. Even in the early stages of mining, you have to control your mining laser and all that stuff. And I really like to see it even more fleshed out. Maybe mining gases, mining bigger rocks, and all that stuff. I mean, I have the Orion, and I heard you have the Orion as well, or
I do. Yep.
or had it?
Yep.
And then you can kind of imagine. I mean, there's mining drones, there's the scanner station, there's the main mining laser cockpit or station or whatever, and tractor beams. And when it comes to all that, I really want to have a nice time with friends, and then we maybe earn some money and all that stuff. And when then some other friends come in and says, oh, we have this one pirate on the bounty list and we need support, then we maybe put a stop to it. And currently I don't know how to deal with, capital ships. Can we just park it somewhere and say like, oh, okay, we will be back in 10 hours, we pay 1,000 credits for
Who
the
knows?
parking fee or whatever? No idea. Or maybe it's just safe and we turn off kinda everything and we let just floating it there. But
we'll see. I'm assuming it'll despawn after everybody leaves it, but
yeah, it's kind of weird right now. And also I saw you were talking like maybe 1 or 2 days about, oh, the Orion is on the roadmap, the concept phase and stuff. I'm excited for it, but I'm not like one of those guys, oh, it will be released next year or whatever. No. I'm more like excited because RSI, the manufacturer, went through some style guide changes.
it might look very different.
Yeah, and I'm really excited for that because I really like the cockpit on the Mantis and the more modern parts on it. Because to be honest, the Aurora and Constellation series, they're not really doing it for me.
No, not at all. But all right, also, as let's start wrapping it up because it is getting late.
We have
one more caller and I want to get to them. Not to rush you. I apologize.
No, sorry. It's just, like always, you get fucking carried away with this.
Yeah, Star Citizen, man. That's why we're here.
Yeah. But so, I just give it a break again. I guess the next patch I will dive longer in is when, the anniversary comes around, because they maybe have something big for us there. But otherwise, I'm like, I watch you from time to time, Morphologists and stuff, and then I see what's going on.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Well, thank you, Az.
Yes, no problem.
Be good, and I appreciate your call. Hopefully, we'll hear from you again soon.
Ooh, maybe.
Bye. Bye now. All right, and our final caller for the day is Bart is here. So, Introvertish and Illegal Guy, sorry we couldn't get to you, but it is getting very, very late. So I apologize, guys. But Bart, hello.
Hey, how's it going, dude?
It's going great.
Yeah. So I reckon you want to hear my story, how I got to find Star Citizen.
I do.
Yes. It was the year 2015, around Christmas. I was watching a video from Frankie on PC.
He did a Star Citizen video.
Yes, he did
Really?
several ones. Yes.
Okay, I never knew that.
Yeah, dude, watch it. I mean, you obviously know him. He's, he sucked me into it like almost instantly. He did a video where it was just the hangar module around 2013, 2014, I think.
Okay.
But 2015 was basically the one where they got Korea, and he was showing it around. And what blew me away about the game was basically you being a person, right? You're this guy who just wakes up somewhere, and then he basically walks to a ship. Which we know from other games, but then it became this sim where you're in the fighter all of a sudden, and you're flying somewhere completely else. You have this vast space, and while watching the video, I was keep researching it. I was like, oh, it's supposed to be an MMO. Where are the hotbars? And I'm like, okay, that's weird. But I loved it. I loved the way it's all minimalistic. The whole, the graphics were amazing at the time already. And basically, what sold me in the end was at the end he was basically getting into a constellation.
Okay.
After he fought a couple of pirates at Korea. And the fact that he literally got into this constellation, he lifted off. The ship turned around, and he was not like being thrown out of the ship. I mean, that happens still sometimes, but it was just the fact that there was a physics grid that was fully operating within a ship, its own dedicated level, so to speak. at the time I was super impressed. I don't know how many games were already doing it, but I've never seen it in this kind of like precise nature, I'd say. And obviously, the fact that people could basically play together on these servers and the whole prospect of it, what it's trying to be, it just sold me, because it was at a time when I was starting. I mean, it was around the age of 28, 29, when I kind of got fed up with most games. To be fair, I saw the finiteness in games. Like nowadays, I look at a game, I'm like, how much fun is that game going to give me? Right? When I'm going to put it in the shelf, am I even going to buy it straight off the bat? And I do it with barely any game nowadays, unless a friend really recommends it to me, right? If it's not just like, I don't really go by, oh, this is the hit game of the week, right? I'm going to watch someone play it, and then I'm going to be like, okay, I'm going to get it or not. But generally speaking, the older I got, the more fed up I got. But Star Citizen kind of like, I have to be honest with you, Star Citizen is kind of the last straw in gaming for me, because it has the prospect of being something bigger and versatile. Because the problem with one game usually is it only serves you a certain purpose, right? It only satisfies one aspect of the whole range of gameplays. But Star
And
Citizen
with this, you could shift.
Yeah, you could shift. If you get fed up, let's say, for example, I want to do salvage later on, but if I get fed up with it, I'm just like, hey, why do I not give mining a chance? Or, hey, maybe I become a pirate, or we know the story.
Sure.
But yeah, it's just I with all the problems that it has, obviously, I still love it. I've been hanging out with people at conventions, with developers, and see the human side of it, because it's important for me to meet people as well, not just over the internet, because that's putting a great perspective to things. I'd love to meet you guys, at the next CitizenCon, have a beer.
I can't wait.
Yeah, dude. Like, I really hope it's going to be in LA next year, maybe, hopefully.
It better be. That'd be messed up, because it was planned for LA, and I really don't want to make a European trip, because I'm afraid of flying, and LA is bad enough as it is.
It's the only one I still haven't seen, like the LA one. I've been to.
You're not mentioning much. LA is literally the worst city on the planet, in my opinion. That's my opinion.
Okay.
But
okay. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I was probably drifting apart. Yeah. No, literally, basically that's the main point why I'm come to CitizenCon. I mean, you have the event itself, but it's more about what happens before and after. Meeting with the people, finally putting a face to a name, and that's so precious. And with all the criticism and with all the goods and the bads, I think it's important to remember the people, to keep your friends close, to take a step back sometimes, see the overall progress that's being made, and just judge for yourself. If you still love the ride, so to speak.
All right, well, let's end it with, what do you see? Obviously, the choice was like the big theme of the discussion that you and I have had so far. But if you could choose one, or if you see yourself doing one more often over the other, what would it be?
Hauling my friends through jump gates through the verse in a Kraken.
All right. That is the ship I want to grind towards. Like, of all the ships they've made so far, that is the ultimate organization ship.
Yeah, it's the best
ultimate
ship.
Play with your friends ship. Out of all the things, the features that they say are going to come with it, that is the one.
Yep. Right. And yep. The second is salvage, but it goes hand in hand, I guess.
True.
Yeah. I really don't know what to say anymore. Other than looking forward what the game brings. If it pisses me off too much, I'm just gonna take a break. But other than that, it goes.
Easy as that. Yeah, it's true. I mean, that's pretty much where I'm at right now. I just play other games.
Yeah,
and-
it's
and
I
do what I
honestly
can.
admire your pain threshold. It must be over 9,000. Jesus.
Yeah, I think it is, but I'm numb at this point, I think. So,
Yeah.
but it is what it is, and I think that's why like doing stuff like this is really important, is to remember where we came from, remember where we want to go, that we all came from similar places, and yeah.
Exactly. And you know, you've seen me throwing in some side jab comments from time to time, but
Yeah.
it's just the dialogue discussion, agree
It
to
is what it
disagree,
is.
but all in all, we're just one community, and
Exactly.
yeah.
Every once in a
looking forward
while,
to
I
meeting you
need to
guys.
dig myself out of that hole and remind myself that we're all here because we love the game. That we love what
Yeah.
it could be. So, all right, Bart.
In our own way.
Exactly, in our own way. So, Bart, we'll let you go. I appreciate it. I know you
All
said
right.
you were nervous, but you did fantastic.
Thank you.
And we'll talk to you next time.
All right. Have a good one.
Bye-bye. All right, guys. I did a positive and happy answer the call. Next week, we're going to talk about how this system is the worst and that is the worst. And we got it at... No, I'm just kidding. But, yeah, I think it was something that I needed, and I'm glad we did it. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. And I enjoyed taking part in it. So we're in a rough place for the game and the state of the game, but I'm hoping and remaining positive that we'll start digging ourselves out of this hole that is the last year or so for Star Citizen, and we'll see. But thank you so much for watching, guys. If you want to take part in Answer the Call one day, or be a part of this community at all, that all these guys that we talked to today, discord.gg/SaltEMike, twitch.tv/SaltEMike, and if you're watching on Twitch and you didn't catch the whole show, it'll be up on youtube.com/SaltEMike later today. All right, so thank you so much for watching, everybody, and I'll see you hopefully next week for Answer the Call. It's been a rough go, because I do not want to make these topics where all it is just piling on. I don't want to do that anymore. So if it ends up Answer the Call being guests more often when the game is in the state that it is, that's what it'll be. If we end up taking a week off here and there, that's what'll happen. But it just, I made the post the other day. If I would much rather not make an Answer the Call if all we're going to do is mention the same thing over and over again. CIG, please add more gameplay elements to the current experience. Make it look not like a technical alpha and make it look like an actual alpha. Done. I don't know how many more times I need to say it. It is what it is. And I want to get away from that topic in particular. And I hope I do. And we'll see what happens. We'll see the future of Answer the Call. I don't know what it'll be. But I do like talking to people about the game. And irregardless of the subject, right? It could be a positive one, and it could be a negative one. And we'll see. But thank you guys for watching. Make sure you leave a like, a comment, subscribe, all that stuff. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're on Twitch, yeah, hit that follow button. I do appreciate it. And yeah, become a part of our community and stop by more often. We're streaming every day but Monday for now. I might change it to Thursday. We'll see you in the future. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you for watching.